And from one iconic landmark in Bermondsey to another much well-loved spot, which you can actually walk to just this way. But I'm going to take you the scenic route. Down that way is Shad, Thames, London's longest street, which I'll be covering at some point. This was all redeveloped through the 80s and 90s and onwards. Let's point you up a minute. And what I want to show you is just here. That woman's got nipples like peas. The Malaysian pocket edition. I like things like this. Slippers. And all round the water feature are beautiful, not even scantily clad but totally unclad Malaysian ladies. That'll make a nice picture for the page. And the statue is called Waterfall by Anthony Donaldson, 1991. Where I take you is through here. We've left the scenic route for now. Where I want to take you to next is this pub just here called the Anchor Tap. One of Bermondsey's oldest buildings, historic pub. It was built in 1761, massively restructured in the 1850s, given an internal refit in around 1899 to 1902, around that era, and really hasn't changed much at all since then. Copper Row we're on at the moment. Look how it's all changed. Mind the rubbish bins. Anchor Tap. Nice old pub. I'll just pause you a minute. There we are. Anchor Tap. And you'll join me inside for a beer and a wander around this little historic Bermondsey gem.
I'm just going to take those tables
Oh,
and
right,
chairs
that's
out.
all right,
So if you want to
okay.
take pictures of the rest and then that one.
All right, lovely. I'll do that
Those
afterwards.
chairs are empty.
Okay, thank you. Cheers. Early plan of Horsleydown. So how Shad, Thames and pickled herring stew was in its original day. And if you come here, do ask if you can take pictures first, because this is one of the proper old school pubs where they don't really encourage mobile phones. And the reception in here, when you are in here, is not great. So you come in a place like this for the experience and the beer, of course. Teddy is my favourite lager. I do drink Guinness occasionally, but only if I'm near enough to a convenience for it to not be embarrassing, shall we put it that way. It goes through me like the Battle of Bosworth Field. Love old places like this. Been called the Snug in its day. And the ceiling has stayed its original brown colour. They painted the ceilings brown in pubs in those days because of people smoking. You can imagine a white ceiling would not have lasted long. Some great images in here as well. Sorry, I am sorry. Sorry, I am sorry. Let's get that one. Games room.
If I could just get you to sign out, sign in and sign out here. No problem. That would be perfect. Have you got a pen to do that? No, perfect. Oh yeah. But not quite. Instead I've got two left. And Bill, you call me Bill.
Just through here, not that will go up there because it's the ladies, but There's a really great old spiral staircase in this bit. And it's original to the pub as well. This is its dining room, obviously upstairs, lined with lovely old pictures. Join me back downstairs where we'll go out into the beer garden. We go out into the beer garden. And I think you're gonna like this when you see this in a minute. You've got the very old of the pub against the very modern of the 1980s and 90s. And then you come out this way and you get this. Great spiral staircase. The Copperage, this is known what we're in now, this little courtyard area. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our tour of the Anchor Tap pub Hope you've all enjoyed. If there's any historical images or whatnot, you'll join me for those at the end. Not many historical images for the old anchor tap, but this lovely drawing from 1947 by Mona Moore shows our pub over on the right and the old brew house, the Courage brew house, right in the foreground. And bear in mind everything on the left in this image just a few years after the war, so it did survive the war, a lot of that stuff. I did visit this pub a few years ago. It was with an older phone and filmed in a different format, and the filming wasn't that great, so I done a re-film for you, as you've seen. And in this image from my last visit to what we're going to see in a minute, bear in mind in the middle there where it says anchor tap with the blackboard below. And you can see since my last visit and this one, we've got a colour change. The lovely pub garden, I can only recommend going and sitting out there and having a beer. It's very, very nice. And as I said, bear in mind above the door the anchor tap thing. Between my last visit and this one, they discovered behind that blackboard, all sealed up, a hidden door, which for the first time in many, many years is now open again. So for the first time in many years, you can sit inside the snug and see right down into the street. Our lovely pub over on the right, the brew house in the foreground, and as I said, everything on the left to bear in mind, which is now being replaced with these modern flats, or apartments as they shall be called in that area. And I found a list of residents from 1793 to 1944, so I'll pause for around 15 to 20 seconds on each page, so if you need to pause to read, please do so if that's something you'll be interested in. And Harold Alfred Rayner, 1944, being the last on the list. Our pub has played host to many people over the years. In its early days, mostly dock labourers and warehousemen, but in more recent times, a town crier, and most famously, the Chelsea pensioners. Who you see here, having a beer, and a couple of them having a look through on their phones. And to end us off, our old image, our drawing from 1947, followed by the same view 77 years later. The pub still remains, thankfully. The brew house still remains, adapted into flats, and everything that was on the left, as you can see in this image, is very much a modern world. Thank you for watching, and hope you all enjoyed.